Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another One Piece manga review. I'm here, your guy, Lyndon Burton, joined with my co-host, as always, Mr. Christian Hollinger. Christian, how you doing this week, man? Low-key, my schedule's all fucked up. You had some work to do. We couldn't get the Alabaster review out, but that's okay because there's a break next week, so the people will get it soon.
Yeah.
How you doing, though?
But yeah, I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. Glad that there's a One Piece chapter, plus the people getting this early. And, if there's any differences in the official from the scans, like if there's a major difference, then like I'll either do like a live or I'll get you on Twitch and we'll do like a little something just to differentiate the two. But the scans in the official have been what for like the past month now. So I feel
right.
that might be a couple word difference, if anything.
I mean, it's interesting, as I scroll through Twitter these days, it actually seems that the fans in general actually like the fans' translation a little bit better, just because they say that the official translation kind of waters stuff down sometimes, and sometimes the fan translation tries to take, I guess, more emphasis on, how things are enlarged or just magnified elsewhere. So, there's just more emphasis in some of the statements that are made. But
no, 100%.
Yeah, this chapter here seems like it's full of accurate things. So there's slight word changes. At certain points, I wouldn't be, surprised, but it would be still, consistent and congruent.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to see like an actual Luffy versus Kaido fight and they just messed it up that crazy.
Right.
And if you are new to our videos, how they work is we do a quick, brief summation. I literally run through it as quickly as possible. And we feel that, which is different than other reviewers where they review as they go through it, we like to just take it by event by event and break it down completely, give you theme breakdowns, give you theory breakdowns, and let you know what we think is coming next week. So let's get into that. This week's chapter 1011. Oh man, we're getting deep in there. I'm trying to see this chapter name. This chapter 1011, Anko Standards, which means red bean paste. So basically, Oshiruko, I wouldn't be surprised if the official name was Oshiruko or something like that. It starts off with Kid and Killer looking over the edge of Onigashima, and who's coming at him? Big Mom with her new homie, Hera. She's coming with the lightning, shocks him. And then all of them, the three fall through and they're down in the lower levels. Zeus escapes and Luffy's like, yo, dog, I got this up here. And Law's like, all right, Mugiwara, I'm going to take everybody else down, which leads into your theory of Nami's about to get Zeus again. We'll get into that. And then we see Luffy and Kaido chatting. Kaido's like, bruh, you seem to enjoy this. The greater the risk. And Luffy's like, haha. I'm about to whoop your fucking ass. And basically, we see a clash. We see a Conqueror's hockey clash. The clouds don't split, but there's dust that splits. We're going to get to that. I'm going to ask you your thoughts on that when we break it down. Later, we see Kid and Killer, like I said, inside the castle. They're looking for Big Mom, but who meets them head on? It's none other than that snitch, traitor-ass Hawkins. Hawkins and Kid's like, bro, you traded on me. Hawkins was like, bro, I was going to be with you. I just got to play with the fates. So Kid ends up leaving and Killer's like, nah, I got this, dog. I'm going to hold this down like a good first mate should. So we found Killer's battle, Killer versus Hawkins. And I'm going to say why later. I think that's great. We then see Nami.
I think we're going to agree on that.
Yeah, you already know I'm going with that. That's for your boy. We see Nami, Tama, Usopp fighting page 1. We see Usopp letting out a bunch of new attacks. And Usopp's like, I'm not built for close range, but I'll get them off of us, Nami. Don't worry. They're trying to get to the gifters so Tama can do what she do and give them more Kibidango. Again, more Usopp moves, which I think are super dope. And then as they're coming around the corner, they see none other than Big Mom herself. But she recognizes Tama, and they start talking about the Oshiruko and how they destroyed Okabore Town. And Big Mom didn't take too kindly to this. She then ends up punching page 1, and everybody's shocked, like, oh, is Big Mom turning on us? And that's pretty much the end of the chapter. So let's start with Where do you want to start? You choose where we start.
I mean, Big Mom opens and closes, so I say we start again, not to be too vanilla, but let's start with the beginning, because I think this chapter goes along chronologically pretty well.
Yeah.
So with this opening, I don't really know how much has transpired. We still see Kid is lugging the metallic objects with him. So we saw that last chapter. So I'm assuming they're just arriving here. And to your point you made chapters ago, Big Mom is capable of, replacing Zeus immediately. And I love, again, that Oda has taken, actual lore here, because it actually compounds and makes past events make even more sense. So, if you know Greek mythology, you know that Zeus was kind of promiscuous. So that is the whole, lore here going on with why, he doesn't mind being with Nami. He has a wife, which is what's implied here. Big Mom summoned the female embodiment of Zeus, which is named Hera, which may or may not change, but that does seem accurate.
Also, just to chime in, Hera has been known to, in multiple different versions of them doing Greek mythology. She's not directly lightning like Zeus, but she has been known to control the clouds and storms and whatnot.
Right. And so it is a derivative here, but what we see here is that Big Mom is still capable of making giant, lightning attacks. And like I said, this now gives more lore to the whole Greek mythology of Prometheus, Zeus, and Hera now. So it is very good for Big Mom's portrayal here, because beforehand, it was looking like, okay, well, the supernova were able to separate her from her two homies rather simply. And without her homies, she can't do anything. And we see here, again, it wasn't shown, but it's presumed that she essentially materialized Hera out of nothing.
Yeah, so, I assume out of whatever clouds were around her.
I mean, maybe she did that,
Or it's like you said, it just came out of, she thought about it, took her soul out, and poof, there we go.
Right.
We don't necessarily know how it works, but I assume Hera's going to look cool because we see a little bit of her lipstick. So I'm excited to see Hera when we see her.
Right. So that full Gora, that looks extremely, extremely powerful.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
it was so powerful that it made Kid's electromagnetic box break.
Right. Now, I mean, and we're about to get to that, but I'm just saying, the last couple of chapters of One Piece have been throwing out, just major, haymakers here with just massive, massive, battles and not just battles, but attacks. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And, I'm going to pose this question towards the end of the chapter, but with all of these characters using these levels of attacks, it just amazes me the disadvantage that the Whitebeard pirates were at Marineford. The fact that Whitebeard is capable of doing the things that Big Mom, Luffy, and Kaido are doing
shows how bad his illness was.
Yeah, right. Because this stuff is casual for these guys. And we never once, we saw some magnificent Quake Fists, but these seem to just be, just punches that they throw that just uses their hockey. This is not their devil fruits. So if you're telling me Whitebeard was capable of doing essentially the same full Gora attack that, Big Mom's doing now, or the Thunder Bagua that, we see later, or the club.
The Ragnarok, yeah.
The Ragnaroks that we see later in this chapter, casually with his fist, and then you add a Quake Fist on top of that. I just try to imagine what Marineford would be like if Whitebeard was throwing out these kind of punches. And it really is just, you would have shown up, taken these, and left.
And it makes sense why Sengoku was so nervous and why Sengoku was like, bruh, we are lucky he is at, I wouldn't even say 50% at this point. I'd say Whitebeard was 30% of who he was.
I mean, his endurance was still ridiculous, but his attack potency was nerfed. So everything we saw was, I mean, just looking at this right here is just
it's nuts because
telling me.
It's crazy because the last arc we reviewed as from early One Piece was the opening East Blue arc, and to see the little rubber kid throw a punch at Arlong compared to what the little rubber kid is doing now, he's a man now. Yeah. It's crazy to see how much One Piece has changed over the years.
So as you were saying earlier, we don't really. I mean, it seems later that Kid and Killer are okay, but it seems as though, at this point, Kid is saying, "Okay, I have to focus everything I can on Big Mom.
I can't focus on Zeus anymore."
Zeus. Law notices this, and he's like, "Okay, Kid's, he's in the trenches right now. He's trying to figure this out." Now, this to me is hilarious. Okay, at first it didn't click, but Luffy told Law to take Zoro and the rest of them, down last chapter. Law doesn't want to be told what to do. So in this chapter, instead of Law confronting him about it, Law just says, "You know what? I'm just going to state what I'm going to do as if you didn't tell me this." So he was like, "Hey, Straw Hat, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these guys down because I feel like doing it."
I'm not going to
do it like, okay.
Because I'm still a D. I'm still a captain. I respect you, Trafalgar Law. I respect it.
And we just see Luffy just be like, okay.
Peace. Later, right. I love that Luffy attack was something serious. Base form Luffy. Kaido was legit.
Kaido's on the ground. Kaido's on the ground with his palm up.
Yeah, back on the ground.
So that is, that's something. But, again, Kaido being, apparently some kind of masochist is enjoying himself. So he's getting up and he's like, okay, this is really good. You're enjoying yourself. I'm enjoying myself. This is good. Again, we get that kind of Luffy Katakuri moment where Katakuri's like, I no longer, Kaido doesn't say that, but the smiles, you can kind of read it. He's kind of saying like, I no longer think that you're beneath me. Like you are definitely at this point, you are definitely at that level that we saw earlier, Shanks, Whitebeard, etc. You're amongst them. You're at the bottom of that tier still.
But you're there.
But you're amongst them.
What's crazy to me is this is base form Luffy. Like whenever Gear 4 comes out, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I am like scared for Kaido.
See, here's the thing. This is what I'm hoping for tremendously. And, not again, I don't want to harp too much on like other anime, but I just read, the Dragon Ball Super manga. Goku right now, and I know you feel it's a Dragon Ball, but Goku right now, he, essentially just mastered Ultra Instinct in his base form so that he doesn't have to transform. And so when I look at Luffy pre-time skip, I looked at Gear Second, we discussed this before, Gear Second and Gear Third. So Luffy at first needed to pump up his entire body just to use a jet pistol. We see post-time skip, Luffy can just, set up his arm and throw a jet pistol immediately. He doesn't have to get in the stance. He doesn't have to warm up. He can throw a jet pistol practically from base, even though it's a Gear Second technique. Gear Third technique, Luffy used to have to like blow up his, from his thumb if you wanted to enlarge his leg.
Yeah.
And you would see like the air traveling through his body until he got where he wanted to. Now Luffy can just control Gear Third wherever he wants it. So what I'm thinking is, what if Luffy, because again, Rio and mastering all of these coatings and armaments, Luffy has to use it precisely. And every time that Luffy's used Gear 4, the person viewing it always comments on the fact that it's a completely wasted hockey type of aspect. Like, it's just like, okay, like, yeah, you're powerful, but you're going to burn through yourself very fast. Rayleigh, when he saw it, said that. Katakuri saw it, said the same thing.
Dofi said it too.
Dofi said it. If you count things like movies, then in Stampede, Bullet was like, that's impressive, but you're going to burn through your hockey. So I think that Luffy's going to be able to sustain a form like that a lot better now. But at the same time, I believe it's going to be something similar to Gear Second, where Luffy may be able to tap into, like, let's say, his Calvary's moveset from Snake Man, but almost from base, where we see like his arm would be Snake Man-esque. Or his hair, might start flowing like Snake Man,
and that could be the new version of it too. That could be like
something like that, something that's a little bit more streamlined, where he's not burning
that much
hockey, all over the place. He's just doing what he needs to do. If he needs to inflate into Tank Man, he can switch from a Gear Second. What's the move? Is it
You're talking about
Python?
Oh yeah.
If he can switch from. Imagine Luffy being able to switch from a Python into a Tank Man, like immediately, not having to power up into Snake Man, and then say like, oh crap, like I see the future. There's this really powerful attack coming. Let me switch all the way into Tank Man or something. If he could just retract his arm and then enlarge his stomach and take on those properties. That to me would be really dope. And, again, these things are called gears. So I always think of Luffy as like this Formula One, car driver. So if he's able to switch between his gears effortlessly, then, we're really getting somewhere with that.
See, and I based upon what you last just said, the car thing, let me tell you where I'm at with it. Because I think what you said would be very cool. But based on the fact that, okay, Gear Second, blood pumping. Gear Third, bone. Gear Fourth, muscle. That's pretty much all of the systems of the body minus the nerves. But you can kind of say the nerves in the brain can tap into what can be considered the soul. And since Conqueror's Haki is all about your soul, your will, I feel like this is leading to whatever Gear 5 is going to be.
I mean, look, it's interesting that you made that connection, because I remember a lot of people were saying something about like the nervous system a long time ago, making that same kind of judgment about, like the anatomy of everything, which is valid. That is the point. It's funny because, again, I make this reference to Dragon Ball, but I love the scene where Luffy's fighting against Enel and he turns his brain off. And so he actually demonstrates Ultra Instinct long before Goku does.
Yeah.
But when you think about that, that's actually crazy, because Luffy actually legitimately has the ability to turn his brain off. So that is a nervous system type situation aspect, which is like, wait a minute, like that's actually legitimate. Like, I don't know how that works. Does he like use his devil fruit to turn his brain into literal rubber so that it's no longer functioning? And then whenever he releases it, it reverts back into a functioning brain. Like, I don't understand, but he literally can turn his brain off.
No, that's a fact. And to me, that's just observation. That's just observation before observation.
I mean, yeah, I think Oda was making a joke about, okay, well, since he's dumb, he's just gonna sway like, a blade of grass. But it could be. But I mean, that's also Enel, who had major observation via mantra. So that's hilarious. But we're getting a little too sidetracked here.
It's just crazy that what Luffy's doing with Kaido, man. Base form sending kicks. They had the clash, which we've been waiting for. Do you think the sky parted?
That's interesting, because I was actually going to ask you that. I don't think so. The anime will most likely expound on that, but I really feel like there's never been a moment where the sky parted and Oda wouldn't draw that, because that would be the focus. And so since he hasn't drawn that panel, I'm going to say it hasn't happened.
I'm with you. I think that's Gear 5th or Gear 4th territory. Once wherever we get, whatever gear we're doing with Conquerors, I think that's when the sky splits.
I agree with that too. And the thing that's actually crazy is that I actually don't know where sky splitting falls on, like the power scale here, because we know Big Mom and Kaido split the sky, and we know that Shanks and Whitebeard in his old age split the sky. But in the manga and in the anime, I don't believe Roger and Primebeard split the sky. But I would assume that Primebeard and Roger's clash is the strongest clash that we've seen, but it didn't split. So it's like, is splitting the sky, like, could it be that is a lesser feat? And I say that because it seems like when Shanks and Whitebeard split the sky, Shanks wasn't really trying to kill Whitebeard. Again, anime, wasn't showing anything, but I don't think that there was.
I definitely don't think Big Mom and Kaido was trying to kill each other when they split the sky either.
Right. And that's a very, very, very old, decrepit Whitebeard, as we were talking about earlier. And they split the sky. But we're talking about Primebeard and Roger, the same Roger who's like, I'll probably never be able to fight Roger again. Whitebeard again. And Whitebeard, who is just overjoyed to be able to fight Roger and show Odin Roger. So I'm actually of the mindset that what Luffy and Kaido are doing is above sky splitting at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know. But based off of Roger and Whitebeard, I think that what he's doing is similar to Kaido and Big Mom.
Okay.
He is getting there.
Real quick, before we move forward, I think it's important that we note, if you look at the panel where the clash happens, this is why I think the gear is coming. Look at Kaido's hockey stream, how it's big and flowing, where Luffy's a tiny little Conqueror hockey stream. I think that's very important.
I mean, the way I see it, another way you can look at it is Luffy is obviously closing the gap. And then also visually, again, I love making references to Stampede. When you see the beginning of Bullet and Luffy clash with Conqueror's hockey, you can tell that Bullet's aura is bigger than Luffy's. So they're clashing for a moment, but you can tell, and I think this is just a common trend, when Luffy and his opponent have similar powers, the opponent is usually a little bit higher, and Luffy's steadily going to climb until he gets to that same level.
Insane ass.
With his insane ass. So
that's pretty much all we got at the top.
It's really only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's coming. But that's enough for this chapter, because that's pretty much all. And we could talk more Luffy on another video, but if we talk any more on this one, it's we're pulling for straws at this point, because that's pretty much all.
So leading into Kid and Killer,
they're on floor 2, which is important for us to note out.
Okay, good. That was a nice catch. So Big Mom and I don't know how this happened, but Big Mom, Kid, and Killer got separated. Kid and Killer are still, together. They run into Hawkins, and this is interesting. Mainly because at first I'm thinking, like, is this a moment when Hawkins is finally ready to, flip sides? And he starts talking about the fates. So he's trying to, I guess, explain and say, look, I know you're pissed. You have every right to be pissed. It's amazing that you guys survived. You know me. I was just following the cards, bro. And Kid and Killer were like, look, bro, we're not even trying to hear that. Like, we know how you are, but we're really not trying to hear that.
Yeah, we got to deal with it. We don't care about your punk ass.
So, as you were mentioning earlier, we get a great matchup in Killer versus Hawkins.
This is the scale Killer right under Zoro. That's what this is. This is Zoro beat Killer pretty handily without even really trying. And not Killer, beat Hawkins without even trying. Killer said that, if I had my weapons, I'd have put it on you. So I was like, dog, you can't even do nothing really, like talking about. And this is to scale him to see, like, okay, is Killer Zoro level? Is he right under where he's at? I think this will show he's under Zoro, but in terms of Supernova, excluding Blackbeard, I think it's going to go Luffy, it should go Kid, Zoro, Law, Killer. But as of now, it's Luffy, Zoro, Law, Kid, Killer.
Yes. I would agree perfectly with that sentiment. I definitely believe Killer is about to blow through Hawkins, but I don't believe it'll be as quickly as Zoro. Or I believe he's going to sustain a little bit more damage than Zoro did. And again, not to hype up Zoro too much because, this isn't really a Zoro chapter. I actually was laughing at the fact that he said nothing. He was just passed out, apparently, this chapter.
Toast.
Okay. In this case, Zoro was at the time not necessarily trying to kill Hawkins. He was protecting Tama and Luffy while riding on the back of that dog. He was not trying to hurt the dog. So, it's a whole lot of different things going on, but he did sustain a couple of those nail injuries, if I remember correctly, but I don't believe he sustained any other damages. And he put it on. He took quite a few lives from Hawkins pretty quickly. So that's exactly what I expect
from Killer.
Yeah, from Killer in this example. So I'm looking forward to that. Not more than too many of the other matchups, but I have to say, in general, I think as of this chapter, I think we have a very, very nice setup that reminded me a lot more of Marineford, where at this point, Roof Piece and Below Roof Piece are somewhat merged. I expect us at this point, I no longer really expect there to be a Roof Piece chapter. I expect us to see Luffy and Kaido clashing along with the plot line of what Big Mom is doing. I don't believe Big Mom's going back to the roof top anytime soon. So I believe that we're going to be constantly jumping between Big Mom doing stuff on the floor, which means that Big Mom is going to lead into, Queen and King, where we're going to see, perhaps Marco and hopefully Sanji there. That fight may lead into Jinbei versus,
Which we need to see next chapter.
Which we need to see, but it's okay, so we can jump between Kaido and Big Mom, but by doing that, we're still seeing all the other fights because all the other fights seem to be set up now. So now that we have Kid versus Hawkins, that's another very decent matchup. Again, like we just said, it's not my highest priority because again, it's more of a mirror match. This is supposed to be, Zoro versus Hawkins 2.0 because they're contemporaries, but it is still nice to get. So leading into
Killer get some shine.
Oh yeah.
Even though I'm not trying to see him fight. I'm really not. But do you think, Killer? You should have no problems with Hawkins because your Sonic was messing up Kaido. If he got
messing up Kaido, right.
Then that's a little.
If anything, because Killer is also the more, I guess, better negotiator, and he kind of spoke on behalf of his captain oftentimes in the alliance, it's very possible that he can probably convince him and say, look, man, I know you're about to fate, but you see, my percent of death was 92%. I just whooped your ass. You need to come on to our side.
True.
It could happen.
Also, since he's more emotional than Kid, I think we could see, and since he went through his ordeal with the smile, I could see Hawkins taking maybe, because we still haven't seen Heat or some of the other crew, I could see him using their lives, and that can maybe be what damages Killer, and then we figure out how you negate Hawkins's devil fruit through Killer.
Right. So leading into Usopp here, I have mixed feelings about what inevitably happens here because again I wanted all of the Straw Hats to have a very uphill battle, and what we were first getting here is definitely your temporary, your normal contemporary stuff is not cutting it. Nami does not have Zeus, the little lightning bolt that's used against Ulti. It's not going to cut it against page one, especially not close range. I'm very surprised at Camachio because it seems as though page one is definitely assaulting the dog, and the dog is just kind of tanking it.
Yeah, man, dude's claws are all up in the dog's ass. Like, get off.
Right. And the dog is just like, all right, I guess I'll handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like seeing Usopp's flower fireworks, his lethal green star, and then his exploding pine cones.
All of that was excellent. I've been waiting for him to get some cool ammunition. I mean, he's always had cool ammunition, but I'm always enjoying seeing different ammunition that he uses, especially because his is based off of creative things, not just bullets. And
I believe if they were dinosaurs, that might have hurt page one.
Yeah. Without a doubt. But I mean, obviously, Zoans and specifically dinosaur Zoans are probably ridiculous. Like if that was like a lion Zoan that doesn't have scales, maybe that would hurt more. But these guys are very, very durable. So we have Tama here still being a freaking MVP. I mean, I saw a meme earlier today on Twitter. They photoshopped Tama's face over Shanks and it's like, I'm here to save the war, stop the war. And it's like,
it's funny that it's Shanks too, because she might be the apprentice. I think it's funny. Yo, is Tama future Yonko? Question mark.
I mean, low key. I mean, she's really doing some stuff here. Mm-hmm. So Usopp shows off. But it doesn't do anything. I love that face that he makes right after he says bullseye.
Yeah, God Usopp. That's some Sogeking King God Usopp shit right there, man.
That is freaking great. I mean, page one is wheezing, so that
did hurt
have an effect.
Yeah, that's my thing.
It has an effect, but then Big Mom shows up.
While saying kids stop hiding, so that means that fight's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's funny though because it's like, I mean, you hit him, and it's like, well, he's trying to find you. He's not hiding. But again, Usopp and Nami's reactions are priceless. Big Mom notices them, and Tama just not reading the room at all. Just
I love it.
Overjoyed, sees her friend. Doesn't know the terror of Big Mom. Nothing. Just open arms.
All in
time. And, Big Mom just instantly reciprocates, going from furious to just overjoyed, happy. And, we get some insight here from Prometheus that apparently not only is Tama super effective because she's a friend, because, I mean, apparently Kiku probably would have the same effect. Mm-hmm. Chopper is probably the only Straw Hat, aside from Brooke, who Big Mom would probably not attack on sight. But Tama is also a child under 10. So apparently this may change in the translation. It may not. I don't know. But apparently Big Mom has a motherly mode where she gets even more, affection and kind-hearted to, young children.
Let's talk about this. Is it motherly mode, or is this true Big Mom because when she, quote-unquote, ate Mother Carmel, she changed and maybe inhabited some of Mother Carmel's soul? So maybe that's the Yonko that we're seeing, and the motherly mode is 10-year-old Big Mom child who is happy-go-lucky on the flag.
I definitely believe Mother Carmel has corrupted Big Mom. So to a degree, it's kind of like every time Big Mom gets amnesia, Mother Carmel's influence is gone. And so she gets reset. However, Big Mom, like as in Olin or, Charlotte, is still someone who seeks peace, who values her friends, who values people who are loyal or who love her, even with her corrupted mindset. So she's always consistent in that sense. It's just that Mother Carmel has perverted that understanding. So what we get here is she doesn't necessarily get amnesia, but we get the commonality between Big Mom, who respects her friends, and Olin, who lost her memories and also respects her friends. And so Big Mom, being herself, recognizes, okay, when I was vulnerable, this this little girl fed me, and I respected that. And so as Big Mom, I still respect that. And that's more potent than Mother Carmel's corruption. This girl hasn't done anything. Even if she's with the Straw Hats, she specifically hasn't done anything.
Her and Okaburi Town, because that's what drove Big Mom over the edge, learning that the Beast Pirates destroyed Okaburi Town. And she's not rocking with that. She's like, oh, the Beast Pirates have no respect. I got to teach them some manners. And straight up punches Page One, which, this could turn the tides of the battle, depending on, now, is this where we see Big Mom betray Kaido?
Well, I believe so, and I don't believe it's going to be immediate, because I don't believe that at this point Big Mom is going to be like, okay, now I'm ready to turn on Kaido, per se. She does put this on Kaido's underlings. So what I believe is going to happen is she obviously, there's no way Page One's getting up from that. No. I think that's out, because at this point, that is literally Roof Piece. And so no one other than Roof Piece characters can take that attack, as far as I'm concerned.
It makes sense because, Usopp and Nami, they can maybe take out Page One, or they can maybe take out Ulti. I don't see them taking out both. So that's a smart way to get rid of one of them, who we've already seen Sanji beat him up. Page One's not really that important. Ulti seems like the more important of the two. So now you get rid of Page One, and that way you can allow Usopp and Nami and I guess Tama to have their 1v3 fight with Ulti.
Well, see, that's why I'm saying that, I think that there's mixed feelings here for me, because even though I don't believe this is an amnesia moment, I don't see how Ulti doesn't, lose her shit and attack Big Mom, because Ulti was talking shit to Kaido. She was like, did you really just call us to fix your family shit? That's on you. And the rest of the Toby Roper were like, you are freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So before I go into that though, I think it's hilarious that Big Mom uses this attack on Page One and she didn't use this on Queen. I get that, she was in an amnesia state when she was faced off with Queen. So, she didn't have, I guess,
the knowledge of her haki, essentially.
The knowledge of her haki, or she didn't even know she was a conqueror, so maybe she couldn't access it.
Or maybe Olin is not and see, this goes to the Mother Carmel.
Well, I don't think Mother Carmel is a conqueror.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Big Mom is special.
Maybe I'm putting too much into the multiple souls thing.
Mother Carmel has an influence, but Mother Carmel is not who had Big Mom tossing giants.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all.
She was doing that as a kid. She was. She definitely was. But I think it's great that we do see her use the Conqueror's Haki attack, because we was talking about Big Mom for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. So with that being said, I don't see Ulti taking that line down. So I immediately see her attacking Big Mom. And I see Big Mom basically just repeating this, just giving her, the 1-2 punch. Okay, you want some too? All right, you're out. So it's
with Nami and Usopp,
maybe Big Mom doesn't hit her. Maybe Big Mom grabs her by the horns and tosses her somewhere really, really hard. That way she can get back up and come face off against Nami. But we can still see Big Mom just toss her aside or something. Because Ulti's crazy like that.
No, that's a great point.
I don't know. But at the same time, I don't think that this means, okay, Tama literally just flipped Big Mom. I think right now that Big Mom is in Tama's presence, she's going to protect Tama. And she's kind of like, okay, well, Tama, you know, we will get revenge for Okaburo Town, but right now Big Mom has to go somewhere and handle some things, you know, so, you know, whatever. Like, that's how I kind of see that playing out. I don't think Big Mom's about to start taking out Kaido's people, though.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Yeah, that would be a little too...
But got to give us our props, because we definitely said we got to get rid of the small fries. We got Chopper last time. This, like we said, they went straight to Nami, Usopp, and Tama. This makes me think next chapter, if he's going to continue that, I have three scenarios. It's either going to be, okay, let's get to Robin to get all of the small fries out of the way, or let's get to Frankie since it's almost done, or we're going to go to Jinbei because we haven't seen anything from him.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Robin and Jinbei with like, and some expedited shipping on Sanji. Like, just like at this point, I'm convinced. Like, not to troll, but I'm convinced Sanji's been in like every chapter, but he's been in the raid suit, and Otis is trolling us. Like, he has to be in the raid suit, and he's been there. Like, he's doing something, and he's invisible. There's just no way.
He's not doing nothing. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I'm just having hopes that when we see my boy, golden hair, black leg Sanji, he gonna be in a battle. That's just my belief. I just gotta hold hope that that's the case. Because if he's just chilling, we gonna have issues.
No way. Like that. Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I can't buy it. He can't be just chilling. So, you know, what do you think now that because that's pretty much the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
What any theories you have from this chapter? Anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
You know, not really. I think it's a solid continuation. I am very, like, we were discussing this earlier, I'm very interested in, you know, like, what Luffy is about to do, to your point, with him being in base form right now, because it's like, he's throwing punches, but he's not even, like, throwing, like, a jet pistol derivative, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
all
he's
of
throwing normal punches. Like, you know, how like, yeah, you know how Saitama's like normal consecutive punches. That's what this is.
Right. So it's like, if he's not even stretching right now, is he playing around? Like, can he jet pistol?
Or is this him testing his abilities to get comfortable with it?
I mean, I get that, but it's like,
no, I understand what
your bread and butter. Like, I know, like we know, okay, Luffy practiced throwing a punch until he could, you know, throw a pistol. So I think like the first one was like Bullet, I believe. And then after Bullet, he had Pistol. Then he had, you know, Pistol was for a while until Eni's Lobby.
Yep.
Then he got Jet Pistol. Jet Pistol was consistent. I think
Rifle was somewhere in there too.
I think so. I think Red Hawk was basically a Rio minus attack, basically. Like, he didn't know what he was doing, but he was tapping into some flaming Rio somehow. Rifle. What's Rifle again?
Rifle's just a longer version of, like, Pistol's the short, like, hand up, Rifle's the thing that comes all the way back, the super stretch.
So then, would you say Cone Gun is a Gear 4 pistol?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think Culverine is a Gear 4 rifle.
Okay. So if that's the case, then Luffy's not throwing his pistol derivatives yet.
No.
And that is his base punch, which means he's still not even
tapping. And that's why I'm like, what the hell is going on?
And if he's not gear second, at the least, then he can amp his speed.
Yep. That's why I'm nervous for Kaido. Like, I'm not even nervous for Luffy no more. Like, I'm nervous for Kaido because when my guy hits him with a Gear 4 Calm Gun Conqueror, I don't know what he's going to do.
See, but then, like, that's the thing. So it's like, as much as I'm looking at this and now I'm hyping Luffy, it's like, well, then what in the world are Mihawk and Shanks? Because like, all right, like my perception of Mihawk and Shanks, and I'm gonna be real, like, I don't know if it's just me, if I was just unimaginative, but what we're seeing right now from base Luffy, and what we just discussed about just Gear Second and his pistol derivatives, imagine like if we were to power scale and amp him to Snake Man Luffy on top of what he's doing right now. My portrayal of Shanks and Mihawk isn't even that. So now it's like, okay, well, if this is Luffy, then Shanks and Mihawk have to be much higher. So it's like, you're telling me Mihawk can react to most likely a Snake Man rooftop Luffy? You're telling me Shanks can react
this is my personal power scaling, and I know people might not agree with this, but I have always had Kaido and Big Mom as the weakest Yonko, and I know Kaido's the strongest creature, but to me, I've always had Shanks, Mihawk, and Dragon as top of the universe.
I mean, no, that's what I'm saying, though, but it's like, my top isn't changing, but Luffy has pushed the ceiling on what the top means so high that I don't understand what the top is anymore. Like, you're telling me Dragon and Akainu are still bodying most likely Luffy. I mean, I don't think anyone is low diffing Luffy in the verse, period, at this point. No one is low. I think we still got some mid differs. Yeah. I still think Dragon, I still think Akainu, I still think
Shanks and Mihawk.
Shanks and Mihawk are still going to mid-diff him, but there's no low differs anymore. But when you just go off of speed, and you're telling me base Luffy's keeping up with Thunderbagu or Kaido, so
in hybrid form, mind you.
So like,
no, I know it. This chapter made me scratch my head a lot.
So I mean, but at the same time, it's still consistent though, because if you're as powerful as that for Mihawk, how do you not arrogant enough? Do you remember Mihawk's face when he used the toy against Zoro? But of course, he's like, dude.
And then to add flame to that fire, look at his face when he saw the admirals lined up. Dude didn't give a fuck. Or not the admiral, the Marine. He was like, I'm glad I get to fight today.
Right.
But that makes sense why he's that confident, because he's at that level that, that these guys, Shanks, Luffy, are at. So it makes sense, but it's just crazy to comprehend.
And then, like I said, again, Oda shows us, because now, again, I love to go back to Stampede. Of course, someone of Shanks and Mihawk's caliber can obliterate Fujitori's comment. It's nothing to these guys. Like, Rooftop Luffy decimates Fujitori's comment the same way Mihawk did. In my opinion, right now.
No, I'm with you.
So, yeah. So at this point, I'm just rambling because I'm hyped. But the point is, the ceiling has just been raised
to another level. No, you're absolutely right. And because of this chapter, I don't have any theories besides what I said earlier. I'm gonna try to think of some, craft some for the next video. But as of now, Oda has definitely put me on my ass in like shockness.
I don't. I will say this again. I don't care if it wasn't a Zoro chapter. Zoro's off the roof piece. I still think Hiyori is the silhouetted figure. Yeah. So I think we will eventually get some kind of ordeal with that.
Yeah, talking to it. Yeah.
Because there's no way Chopper is staying with Queen.
How did she fix the scabbard so fast? What if she has a healing fruit? Is that what we're going to see?
No. I mean, well, actually, like, okay. Just because you brought that up, I know that this is just nitpicking, and Oda doesn't, a lot of anime does this, but it would make sense if she has a healing ability, because Zoro has not once complained about his injury from killing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he woke up from that nap that he took, and it was like, oh, I was never impaled at all. So he already does make a comment about, like, I know you enjoyed, like, your rest or whatever. And we don't really see what she did before Brooke showed up.
And there's a reason why we didn't, I think.
I mean, yeah, I personally am not buying into the theory yet, but if it's legit, it's there.
Yeah.
So
that's the only theory I could come up with for this one.
I don't know if that's a little too perfect, because if she has a healing ability, there's no one more suited. So
yep,
that's all I'm saying.
And then if you combine that, her love for him with his best friend, aka Child Chopper, her thing with Chopper Doc. Look, I don't know.
Hey, I don't know.
But that's all we got this week, Christian.
That's all we got. Yeah.
Tell the people where they can follow you at on social media.
Yeah, Instagram and Twitter, ARCHSZN, Art Season, or Design Season LLC.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow Christian. Tap in with him for your art needs. You can follow me at LinBWT, follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think, and be sure to check out all the content on the YouTube, on the network, and from updates on everything that's going on, follow us on Twitter at Bros Who Think. Look, there's a break next week, so y'all are going to get the Alabaster review, so be on the lookout for that. But until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Peace.